I like cappuccino and fish fresh from the sea. Chips from the casino, I'll wager won't be free. Deficits of money that were not theirs. It was all this computer system.
Yeah.
And the point that seems to be that the leaders of the post office, including a woman who I think is in the inquiry, she's at the inquiry today,
Yeah.
They knew what was going on, that the Horizon, I think it was, computer software was faulty, but they still allowed it to happen. I think there were one or two suicides. Some of them have died since, probably from the stress of it all. And now, of course, now it's all come to light, they're being paid a lot of, quite rightly, a lot of compensation. But it does seem to be the case again, without wishing to have, people hounded and prosecuted if it's not justified, but it just seems these people who were responsible for awful events in people's lives, can you imagine going to prison for something you haven't done, and not to mention losing your name, your reputation in your village, in your town, which happened to lots of them, for things that they hadn't done wrong. And if the powers that be in the post office knew that, then if it can be shown they allowed it to continue, which clearly it did continue, then in my view there should be accountability. And if that means a prosecution for, I don't know, misconduct in a public office, I believe that's what should happen. And it's like these little children. If the people who missed lots of opportunities to protect them, to get them away from evil parents, if they haven't done their job, if there's no accountability, then this will never change. These events will keep happening. We all hear the phrases, don't we? Lessons will be learned. And I think that's one of the most ridiculous phrases that comes out of so many inquiries, because it seems to me they're not learned. And as for the blood, well, terrible business. People got HIV and other illnesses and died. And again, will there be accountability? They'll get plenty of money, quite rightly, for what happened, those who are still alive and their families. But will there be accountability that would stop such a cover-up happening ever again? Now, I have a hunch that there will be no accountability. And as I say, it's not a kind of a lynch mob attitude. I don't want anybody to suffer if they've done nothing deliberately wrong. But if someone has committed things in high office, then there has to be that responsibility, I believe, anyway.
Yeah, I think.
What do you think?
Yeah, well, you know why are you saying what you say? Something came to my mind, and it's not. It's just something funny, and it just sort of brings down. It just sort of throws a sort of a different light on the matter, actually. And I don't know if you're a fan of the show called Blackadder.
Yeah, I watched it occasionally. I was not a regular viewer.
Right,
I know about it.
So there's this character called Balrick.
Balrick.
Yeah.
That was Tony somebody, wasn't it? Tony Robinson?
Tony Robinson. Yeah, I think. Tony Robinson played that. And one time, and it was cast during the war era. So I think it was the Second World War. I think it was. But anyway, he got into trouble. No, he didn't get into trouble, but somebody else got into trouble for giving him a direct order. And he, they do have this military, is it tribunal they call it or whatever, where they set up and Rowan Atkinson, who played Blackadder himself, then said to Balrick, he said, "Deny everything," and so Balrick.
He said what? You're fading out a bit.
Oh, sorry. He said, "Deny everything."
Oh, right. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
deny everything.
Yeah, so he said, "Deny everything." Yeah. And it was funny because when Balrick got there, he denied everything. He denied everything to the letter. What is your name, Balrick? No, sir.
It's a policy, isn't it? Deny everything. And I think that's what some politicians take that view as well. We just deny it. And what can you do if they do just deny something?
Yeah, it was like
deny everything.
Not everything. And indeed, he did deny everything. He denied his name, he denied his address, he denied his rank, he denied everything. And in the end, he was deemed incompetent to stand trial. And that was how that got, And it does make me think that is sort of the art that people in charge now, they've mastered this art so perfectly, and they play it so well. It's like, yeah. And then they use it. There's a phrase that they use, just like the other one you said. They say, "I have no recollection." You think, well,
yeah. What can you say when they say that? I mean, that was on the TV this morning on the news. That with this post office inquiry, a lot of the people who were in charge of various parts of the post office have simply come up with that answer. I cannot recall. Now, obviously, in some circumstances, it's some years ago, that would be a truthful comment. But it's also very convenient just to say, I can't remember, because nobody can get inside someone's head and say, actually, you're lying. So that's a sort of a trump card on everything, isn't it, really? You think about it.
And it's so funny because I remember I think it was last month, where Joe Biden, the American president, I think there was some papers that was found in his address or something. He wasn't supposed to be in possession of it, but actually he was in possession of it. And he was let off because of his age, because apparently this guy is now frail, that he can't remember taking those documents or having those documents in his possession. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, but does he remember he's the president?
Well, yeah, he looks as if he's not. He looks out of it, doesn't he? Very often, he sort of forgets which way to go off the stage, and I never like it when, in many ways he's mocked by the opposition, if you like, in America and others, and he's an old fellow who wants to get another term, which I would have thought is ridiculous, because quite clearly he is too old for that job, isn't he? He's not compos mentis, as they say. So yeah, it's a bit of a worry, as he's the leader of the Western world, effectively, isn't he?
I'd say stranger things have happened.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Oh, dear me. Oh, there's another conspiracy. And I really want to know what you think about this one. This is all out there, and it's quite fresh, and it's quite current, and it's, So, there's a helicopter crash in Iran. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Now, I'm no conspiracy theorist, but
yes, you are. We all are, really, aren't we? We all like a bit of conspiracy theory, I think. My phone keeps going off. I'll put it over there. Yeah, no, it's but what were you going to say? You're no conspiracy theorist, but what?
I was going to say, well, people say it's an accident. Well, yeah, I say it's an accident, in quote, That's what I'd say. Because, these guys are not really playing to the Western, are they? They're not really, they're not really, and if there's going to be a wilder conflict in the Middle East, who's going to, well, anyway, this is not a political show.
But a lot of people have said that, he's responsible, by all accounts, for many, many thousands of deaths of people in his own country. And of course, Iran seems to be behind a lot of the problems going on out there at the moment, if that's the case. But, I mean, from what I read about that accident, it was in the mountains on the borderline with Azerbaijan to open some new crossing there. And it was incredibly foggy.
It was.
And of course, helicopters are notoriously dangerous in thick fog. If you remember that basketball player 2 or 3 years ago, he died, didn't he? I can't think of his name.
It's not Kobe Bryant, is it?
What was it?
Is it not Kobe? Is it not Kobe Bryant?
Yeah, Kobe Bryant. Yeah, and one of
Yeah.
his daughters was with him.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, that wasn't a conspiracy, but again, that they lost the pilot lost his way.
Yeah.
I think it was on a Sunday morning in thick fog, which wasn't there when they took off.
No, it
So
wasn't.
again, I think helicopters can be quite a dangerous thing to go on in bad weather. So I would have thought, but then having said that, to come back to the conspiracy theory, it probably suits the West that someone like that is dead.
Well,
So you never know whether it's sort of opportunism or whether it genuinely is a weather accident. But yeah, it's these things happen, don't they?
it does.
It seems a bit of a coincidence that it did happen at a time when his death was very convenient for, as I say, the States, the Western countries. But maybe those coincidences do happen. Do you believe in coincidence, real coincidence?
Yeah. Well, I do, but it has to be. It's the circumstances as well, isn't it? You got to, you can't help but, wonder. It's just the circumstances as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the circumstances. If it's circumstantial, I think that's what they say, then it's no coincidence. But if it's not, then, could be. People die every day, so what's special about it?
And I think as well, we're very quick when coincidences happen to say there must be some other reason. And I've been looking. I quite like the law of coincidence. So there is a sort of a law that basically says the more opportunities for something to happen, the more likelihood it will happen. I mean, I'll give you an example. And I don't know